All right, let's get started on our landscape painting today. I have liquid white in the sky. There's nothing down here. We are going to start with some pink. I had some red left over from yesterday, and I thought, shoot, man, let's go ahead and use it. If you don't know what liquid white is, and a lot of people don't, I didn't realize that till I started doing YouTube. It's something you can buy, and liquid clear is the same thing. That's what it's called, liquid white, liquid clear. When you put it on your canvas, it helps your paint slide. It helps blend your paints. And that's really all it does. But it does get your canvas really wet. And that's where the term wet on wet comes from. If I did the entire canvas, you could call it a wet on wet painting if I put liquid white over the entire thing. That's where wet on wet, that term comes from. I do it on mountains, but I rarely do the whole canvas on other paintings. I just rather have my canvas dry most of the time, except for the sky. But anyways, enough of that. We are putting a light coating of pink, and I'm going to take a 2-inch brush here in a minute, and I'm going to blend it up. I use a 1-inch brush a lot of times when I'm putting the sky in because I like to place where my collars, and I feel like a 2-inch brush, man, I just kind of, I don't know, I just don't seem to put it where I want it, so to speak. This is phthalo blue we're switching to here. I'm hoping this is gonna be an easy painting today for beginners. That's what I'm shooting for. It's gonna have rocks, trees, grass, just a typical landscape. And I do have a painting over here I'm looking at. Actually, it's one of my older paintings that I have on YouTube. And yeah, I can pull some ideas from it because I'm running out of ideas. If I run out of ideas, I gotta try to find them somewhere else. If I see a bad video that I've done or I don't think is good enough, I'll sometimes redo it and pull the old one off if I can't find anything good to paint. And I do have that problem sometimes. Okay, let's get some Prussian blue. I do skies like this quite a bit, especially in my mountain paintings. Just almost exactly what you're seeing here. Pink with a nice blue horizon or blue surrounding. Because you want your corners and your top dark. You want your viewer's eye to come toward the center of your painting rather than the edges or the top. That's probably good right there. This will all blend up anyway. Let me get my 2-inch brush. I actually have it laying right in front of me so I don't turn around. And we're going to do crisscross strokes. And we're going to stay out of this blue for as long as we can. We're going to start in the middle and we're going to work outward. Doing crisscross strokes. And we just want to blend this up the best that we can. And as you can see, I'm going around these edges. I'm getting a little further out as I'm going along. Because once you get into this blue up in here, you can't come back down. I mean, you can't do it. You'll get blue everywhere. It's going to mix anyway. But if you go up to the top and you come back down, man, you're going to have a real mess. You're not going to have any pink left. And you don't want that. I'm also wiping this off as I'm going on, wiping off the blue, the excess that's on my brush. Because you will pick up a lot of excess. A lot of excess paint. See how it's blending up? That's what you want right there. You want it to blend up best that you can. See, it don't look too bad so far. And this is a very basic, this is an easy sky. I mean, it really is. So I said I want this painting to be for beginners. This is a very easy sky. There's no clouds in it. Very basic, very easy. Okay, I think that looks pretty good actually. Let's see, there's going to be trees right here, so I don't have to worry about there. There'll be trees here and here. So I think we're good. Okay. Let me get me a 1-inch brush. I'm going to take some black, put it right here, a little black, a little sap green, put it next to this white. Let's just see what we come up with here. These trees are, let me start here to see what we got. These trees are pretty big actually. That's probably not a bad starting color right there. We'll put some other collars on top of it, but this isn't a bad collar right here. I'm just going to kind of stomp these in quickly, quick as I can. It's got me a little pile right here next to my white. I'm going to go ahead and finish this row of trees, and then I'll bring you back. All right, let's go ahead and put some water in here. Let me pick my palette up. I worked on these trees a little bit. I don't think they're all going to show. I think just from probably here to here. These ones on the ends I don't think are going to show. I'm using this dirty brush that I put the sky in with. It's probably got too much blue on it. But you know what? I don't want to dirty up another brush. I think it'll be okay. Otherwise I wouldn't do it, I promise you. We're just gonna, there's no liquid white down here. So we have to kind of scrub this in a little bit, which is no big deal. No big deal at all. I'm gonna put a little pink in this water here in just a minute. And go ahead and start throwing a little bit in now. I like using pink. I tell you, it's a pretty good color. I mean, it mixes well with blue. I couldn't do yellow this way. I mean, it turns green, right? So you can't do that. Just throw some yellow in. It don't hurt anything. I mean pink, sorry. Did I just say yellow? I mean pink. There's some pink in. We've got reflections to pull here in a minute for these trees. Can't forget that. Okay, let me start darkening it a little bit. We're coming toward the bottom. I know this area here is pretty dark. It's really not dark enough. I'm using, that time I grabbed some phthalo blue, some black, and maybe just a touch of brown. I don't know, let's see what happens. Just mix up a bunch of stuff. See, that's not a bad color. You want it darker towards you. Everything is that way. The further away something is, the lighter in value, or the lighter in color. As it comes towards you, it should be getting darker. And that shows distance. Just using black, Prussian blue, and a touch of brown. So I want it pretty dark down in here. Black, Prussian blue, touch of brown. Like I said, I want to scrub this in right here. Set my palette down for that. I gotta get some action going on here. And it'll probably wipe away most of our pink. But, you know, we know it's there, don't we? Whether it stays there or not, we knew we put it there at one time. Okay, that's probably good for the moment. Let me blend this out a little bit better. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I think I want the sun to come down this way today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, like I always do, I'm just going to start throwing in some colors. I'll mix it up with the 1-inch brush. This is typically how I always do it because I simply like to do it this way for no other reason. I'll put a little bit here, a little bit here. And this is just our base coat. We're obviously going to put other colors on top, grass and whatnot. This is just to get color on the canvas is really all this is for. Let's see, let's go ahead and do most of it on this side. This is yellow ochre here. This side here will be a little darker than that side. That side's more in the sun. And we'll throw some green in. Throw some more green in here. Let's take a little Prussian blue. Especially down here at the bottom area. Especially right in here. There's some Prussian blue in here. If I had some red, I got a little tiny bit. I like to throw alizarin crimson in with my blue sometimes. And then I just take a 1-inch brush. I'm just showing you this real quickly. This is a dirty one. There's no point in, this is just the base coat anyway. There's no point in dirtying up more brushes. And I just start here in my lighter colors, which would be the yellowish area, before I get down into this blue. Do your yellows first. And I just basically blend it up. And now this is a good base for put our grass and stuff on. We've got a nice little variety of color here going on. See? Now, having said that, we want reflections. Let's go ahead and throw some in right here. I'm going to take some black. Let's see what we can do here. Let's take some black. This is going to come all the way down. Let me pull this painting out so I can get to it. You know, you're trying to follow the land, but you want this dark, not only because it's at the bottom, but this is a reflection. I'm gonna go ahead and throw them in while we're messing around with stuff here. While this is, ain't got no grass on it, this is probably a good time to do it. Okay, let me get me a clean brush. You always got to save a good clean brush for reflections. Let's just go ahead. And you want the mirrored look, just like that. And I continuously am wiping up my brush off. Trying to clean up a little bit. But see, there you go. There's your reflections for that. I'm gonna go ahead and finish this side off camera, and then I will bring you back, and we might put some grass on. We'll think of something. All right, let's go ahead and do a little bit of grass. I went in and threw my water line in. I noticed I forgot it there a minute ago. Let's start on this side right here. I'm gonna start with cad yellow light and a little yellow ochre. The sun is coming down this way. We've determined that. And I'm gonna put my grass in. We got trees and stuff going in, but I'm gonna go ahead and do some of this just to get this out of our way. You can put the trees in, then put the grass in, but it's sometimes a lot easier to do it this way, because I'm gonna let this painting sit overnight before I put my trees on. Make it a little easier on me, because if I let it sit overnight, it'll dry a little bit. Not a lot, but it will dry some. And that really helps you. But I'm just pushing up on my brush right here. You can probably see what I'm doing. Kind of pushing up on my fan brush a little. But see, this is mixing with the collars underneath, so it's not solid yellow anyway. The collars I'm putting on. Let's throw some green in. This is going to be a little bit darker of an area than that. I'm using a number 8 fan brush, which is pretty good size for this, but I decided to use it anyway. I like smaller fan brushes, but I got so many big ones, I've got to start. I tear my little ones up all the time by using them too much. I want to start sharing. Using big brushes and little brushes instead of just all little brushes. That way I can save them a little bit. Now, I burn up the fan brushes. I mean, I go through them. Let's throw some Prussian blue in here. Prussian blue and green. See, it's getting a little darker. That's what you want. You want it darker here toward the bottom. See how it's darker toward the bottom? That's what you're after. That's what you're shooting for. Because the sun is not hitting this right here. The sun's hitting the top, not hitting down here. Prussian blue, you can take you some crimson, make it even a little darker, which I'm going to do because I like it. I like using Prussian blue and crimson sometimes together. I'm kind of picking up on my brush a little bit, kind of giving it a grassy feel. Okay, that's not too bad. I'm going to do that side the exact same way. We still got to put water lines on this. And then I guess we'll be ready for trees and bushes, which I will do tomorrow, but I'm going to go ahead and do this off camera. I'll do it the same way I did that. I'll be right back. All right, this is the next day. This painting has sat overnight. It's still wet, but just not as wet. Now what we're going to do now is work on some trees. I know that I want one right here. See, it's still really wet. I just drug my brush through that, I can tell. And that's okay, that's no big deal. We expect it to be wet. But just imagine how it'd be if we didn't let it set overnight. It'd be a lot worse than this, that I can tell you. Let's see, I got a painting I'm kind of looking at over there. We're just going to throw this tree in here real quick. Just making up some kind of design as we're going along here. I'll come back and work on this a little bit better here in a minute. But yeah, we got 3 or 4 trees over here. Got this one here. And going to have some bushes. Like I said, this is a great beginner painting. It's just your typical landscape painting. I mean, that's really all it is. Well, let's take one tree. Let's put it right in here. I want to cover up this edge. I want to cover some of this stuff right here up. This one does not have to be a big tree. That's probably wide enough, actually, right there. I'll come back and put some branches on that in a second. We got a real big tree here in the front. Gosh, maybe we ought to, I don't know. Maybe I'll save that here for something else. Let's take a tree. I think we'll put one right here. These do not have to be big trees either. Let's put another one here. Let's put a little clump of 3. Clump of 3 trees. Let's put one right here, just not as tall. Okay, that's okay. Let's look at my painting here one more time. Let's see. There is a tree. I don't know. I'll tell you what, let me go ahead and put some branches on these real quick. Let me switch brushes. That's a number 4. That's a great big brush. Or number 3. That's a great big brush. A little too big for this stuff. Let's just put some branches on here real fast. The best that we can. This is burnt umber I'm using, by the way. I forgot to tell you, I think. Burnt umber. Burnt umber, that's what I like. It's a mixture, to me, it's a mixture between brown and black. And that's a pretty good mixture, I mean, just for trees. At least I think so, anyway. Just to get trees started with. Get them started. We're going to have lots of leaves. You're not even going to see some of this stuff right here. But you got to put it in just in case you can. Let's see, these are trees right here. Just put a branch or 2 here and there. These trees here don't have a lot of stuff on them. These are a little different. These trees are different. I'm not sure what kind they are, but they're different looking. Let's pull that down a little bit better. A little bit different. Okay. Well, I'm gonna put this big tree in right here, and then we are gonna start getting busy putting some highlights on these trees. And I'll be right back. All right, I got most of my trees put in. This is a pretty big tree. I told you it was. We're going to do some highlights now. I'm going to incorporate some of this pink. Not a lot. I'm going to start with a little bit of pink. We don't need to do the... I think I want the light coming toward us. I said yesterday I think I want it coming toward us more. I'm just going to run some stuff down the... Like I said, a lot of these branches you are not going to see. This is getting some highlights on here, and you're not even going to be able to see it. But here's my pink. I'm putting it over here with my white, just to incorporate a little color into our painting. And we're just going to go ahead and highlight some of this real quick. I'm not going to worry so much about the branches quite yet. These right here. Just throw some stuff on it. Just throw some stuff on it so it looks like we care. We do. I'm just kidding you. Just teasing. Looks like most of these highlights will be toward the left because they're to the right of the light. I gotta kind of wipe my brush off as I'm doing this because I'm picking up all this paint underneath. I'm going to hit a few of these branches because some of these will probably be shown on this tree. This particular tree. Of course, we got to come back and put more collars on, but just trying to give you a general idea of what we're doing. Yeah, pink and white is what we're using. That's actually got pink in it. You can't even tell probably. All right, so that's okay. You want it kind of subtle. You don't want a bright hot pink, that's for sure. Now let's take a little yellow ochre. I might put a little sienna in it. Just for extra color. Just kind of run it down the tree. We'll probably have to go over these highlights again. But I'm just putting them on basically so I can start on the leaves. If we have to put more highlight on, then that's just what we got to do. It's not that big of a problem. Part of painting. Part of painting, my friends. This is yellow and burnt sienna. Just an extra color. I'm almost sure we'll have to re-highlight these, because this painting's wet and I want to get it finished today. I'm being impatient again. Christmas is coming up, man. It's only 11 days away. I gotta wrap presents, and so I gotta get this thing finished so I can post it. Now I'm gonna take some, as soon as I find my dirty brush, I guess that was my dirty brush I was using. Imagine that, I thought it was my clean one. I'm gonna take some Prussian blue, which I always like to do, and I'm gonna run it down the back side of these trees. I think it gives it a really, really nice look. As I said, I'm just doing this quickly. I'll have to go over this off camera because I can't. It just takes a really long time to get it the way you want it on camera. Because what I'm doing here is mainly demonstration. I'll have to work with it more off camera. Because if you're painting at home, you're not going to go this fast. I normally wouldn't myself. But you have to when you're being videoed, because nobody wants to watch a 4-hour video. And just run it down the back side of these trees. Once I blend this in, you'll see how nice it looks on the, as far as the Prussian blue goes. Right now you're looking at it thinking, oh gosh. It'll be okay, I promise you. Let's go over and do this one. See these straight lines I just made? What I'll do a lot of times, I'll just come in and blend it in. See, if you blend it into the tree, these trees here is kind of thin. Ain't much to blend here. But it takes care of that straight line, because you don't want a straight line. You do not want straight lines. Now this big tree here, I think I'm going to wipe it off before I put any highlights on it, because it's really big. It'd really give me a fit if I tried to work on that now. Well, let me work on this tree and then we'll be back. Let's go ahead and put some leaves on the trees. This tree here, as I said, is a little different. This has I used a little small brush. I'll show you. My granddaughter's brush. I used it to put those leaves on, but the rest of them I think I'm going to make them leaf comma stroke leaves. I do believe. Let's just start here. Let's just throw some stuff in. I want some dark. You got to have some darkness in here. So we're going to throw some darkness in. And then we'll worry about our other stuff here in a minute. This is Prussian blue and raw umber. Something different. I don't normally use this color for this, but I mean, it's dark, so why not? I just experiment around sometimes just to see what colors I like. I usually use, I can use Prussian blue or black, Prussian blue, green. This is just something different. And you just kind of imagine where you think the leaf should be. Okay, let's jump over here to this other tree. Let's do all these, well, except for this big one. We'll do all these here that we can. If you see a bad spot, this is a good time to put something on it. Cover it up, if you know what I mean. If you got a bad spot on your painting somewhere, this is the time to fix it by covering it up. And we're just flipping these in. Flipping in our leaves, that's what I call it. Want some stuff down in here. Okay, let me wipe this off. We'll put a mid-tone color on it, which will be green and cad yellow light. Okay. Green, cad yellow light, probably more cad yellow light than green. Let's see what happens here. This is our mid-tone color. Like I said, you want to keep some darkness in here. That's why we put it on, because there's always darkness in trees. If you look at a tree, you'll see plenty of dark spots. Those are shadows. So you gotta have dark spots. Okay, that's probably pretty good for that tree there. Let's move on over to the next tree. Here's my mix. Like I said, probably more yellow than green. And I'm gonna get it on this tree, and that's okay. This is why we're doing this first, before I finish on the tree. Finish up on the tree. Yeah, I gotta get this painting done, man. Christmas is sneaking up on me. I figured, hey, this would be a good painting to do. Let's see, that's probably good enough right there. Let's jump over to this other side real quick. And like I said, you just throw leaves where you think they should be, basically, is what this amounts to. Just use your imagination the best that you can. I just kind of typically go around the outside edges first and work my way in. But this is our mid-tone, this is not our highlights. For highlights, I just use cad yellow light pretty much. Unless I feel like it needs something else. That's probably okay for that one. Let me wipe this brush off a little bit, and I'll show you how to highlight one of these trees, and I'll do the rest off camera, so we're not taking so long. Get you some pure cad yellow light. See, my brush still has green in it, so this is not actually pure, if you know what I mean. We're just going to touch the edges. So I'm kind of running out of space on this tree anyway, and that's okay. We'll just throw some just here and there where we feel like it. Because a lot of this tree probably should stay dark right in here anyway, because of the way the light is hitting it. I mean, saying that, I mean it should. I shouldn't say it probably should, it should. And I'm just going to, mainly at the tops, because in this particular spot, because you can't hardly get light through here. These trees are really close together. Okay, that's probably all right for that for now. You know, I could always run a branch through here and break that up. That's why I said there's ways, you know, if you don't like something, that you can fix things. And over here, we're definitely going to hit the tops, hit the edges here, and work your way inward. Pure cad yellow light. Turn my brush sideways sometimes to get the paint off, because I have no paint left on the end of my brush. But it's pretty important on the end of your brush to start out on the edges and work your way back in, such as this. When my paint runs low, I'll just turn it sideways and hopefully something comes off of it. And you stand back and look and see what you've missed and what you like, what you don't like. But anyways, I'm going to do this tree off camera. You guys have the general idea. I'm going to do it the exact same way, and I'll be right back. All right, I got my tree. We've worked on that. Trees, except for shadows, are mostly done. I think I'm going to go over some of these a little bit more off camera. This side here seems to have some stuff going on. Lots of trees. This side here don't. So, my plan is, I think I'm going to put some rocks over there. I think we're going to put some rocks. Especially in here. Let's just go ahead. I'm just going to throw some rocks in here. I want to break up this line. I may have too big of a brush. That brush I have, man, it's like a mop. I just bought it. It's brand new and it's got all of its bristles. I'm not used to that. So let's try this again with a different brush. I'm using black, brown. I'm just trying to get a kind of a dark color. I just don't want it super dark. Put a rock here. Let's put one right here. And my brush is a little stiff. Let's put one right here. I'm actually sticking them in the water. Actually, I'll just bring that on out. It don't hurt anything, does it? Got two. Let's put one right here. Let's make three. Two in the water, one is not. Okay. And we need some bushes too. So I may put one more rock back here. Let's do one more rock, and then let's put a rock. I was going to save that for a bush. Let's put a rock right here. Okay. Let me just quickly, we're just going to quickly throw some highlights on these real fast. All I'm going to do is right now is just highlight the top of them. I got some white. This is going to mix. This is not pure white because my brush is filthy. But I'm taking pure white from my palette and using it. We're just quickly going to do this. And I'll finish working on these later. I usually use different colors such as burnt sienna, yellow ochre, Prussian blue, raw umber. Now I'll go ahead and throw a little bit more color in these. You just want some color on it. This is burnt sienna and burnt sienna and yellow ochre. Of course, we'll have to go over these all again. Let me go ahead and show you real quick. This is Prussian blue and raw umber right here. And I'm just kind of running it along the bottom. Like I said, this is real wet. Prussian blue, raw umber. Sorry I'm going fast, but I'm just giving you the general idea. And then I'll finish the rest of these probably off camera. But we'll work on these a little bit more. Let's make some bushes. I think I'm gonna have to use my small brush, my granddaughter's brush. As I always say, she's not here, so don't hurt her any. I'm gonna take some black. I know I want a bush right here. It just looks like it really needs one. We probably need a bush here. Okay, let me look. We need at least 3. Probably need one more rock too. I got 4. Odd numbers is what you should probably use. I tell you what, let's just put one right. Let's put a smaller one here. Okay. Now, let me work on these rocks a little bit more, and I won't touch these bushes yet, and then I'll bring you back. All right, folks, let's go ahead and put our, I'm gonna use magenta. I don't know if I told you that or not, but that's the color I'm gonna use. Let me try to get some of this black out of my brush. We are gonna use magenta today. It's not a real bright color, but it's a good color. Let's see if we can get it to stick. Wow, that stuck good there. Almost too good. That don't look too bad. I want to get me another tube of this. I didn't used to use this very much, but over the past several months, I've been thinking that's not a bad color. Magenta. And I put a little bush right here too a while ago. See if I can get this to come off my brush. All right. Yeah, I don't know if I should fool with that or not. I was going to say, let me put a little more there, but the more you touch it, the worse it gets. Let's see what a little white will do. Just a little. Just to give it a little extra color. Don't want to put too much on here. Yeah, that's probably okay. A little bit more. Yeah, that's probably okay. You gotta be, you know, if you keep messing with it, it's just gonna get worse and worse. So if you get it almost the way you want it, you probably should leave it. Word of advice, because the more I touch it, the worse it's gonna be. This oil's wet, as you know, if you oil paint. Now let me show you something else here. Let's do our shadows under those bushes. See, I got a little tiny fan brush. And a lot of times what I'll do is I'll just touch the stuff that's already here. See, it's not going to work today though. But if that paint was on there thick enough, this is raw umber and Prussian blue. If this paint was on there thick enough, I could just touch this paint that's already here and create shadows. And that's the easiest way to do it a lot of times. Because your paint's already there, you're just basically just moving it around. Let's do this one here, see if we can get this one. It's probably not too bad. Well, folks, it looks like a wrap. I think it turned out pretty good. This is a perfect painting for a beginner. I mean, this is an easy landscape. Got your trees, you got your water, bushes, rocks, very basic. Hey guys, don't forget to like and subscribe for more future videos. And thanks for watching.